welcome to another episode of What Now? Jom Lepak Debate Mini Series, which I think I'll say later when I remember.
Aduh, Haikal, kau tak bagi aku chance pun. Aduh, itu kita buat sama kot.
Sorry. Okay, I mean,
Ya,
I was a bit rushing today because it's been a while we've recorded.
I see.
You know.
Okay, no,
Yeah,
don't rush. Take your time.
Okay, boleh dengar dah dia punya
Dah
suara.
dengar dah suara dia.
Yeah. Anyways, so we're continuing our third episode of our mini series debating what people feel we do for fun, right? So I guess we can say that debating is very scary to most people. Don't you think, Aziz?
Generally, yeah. You know, macam that's the general consensus. You know, debate. Wow. Some people are there, yeah. But it's a pretty cool thing, to be honest. It is pretty scary.
It is pretty scary because not only you sitting in front presenting your ideas and creativity, but also your arguments, and people are judging your arguments, and that's scary, right? Even like when you're going to be in the workforce later, you're still gonna present your ideas creatively, critically, and all that, right?
Definitely.
And what better way to explore this sector in life by asking an expert. Well, not an expert, but someone who's been in the scene for quite a while.
True.
And yeah, please welcome Daniel Rahman.
Hello. Hi, Carl. Hi, Aziz. Thanks for having me
Hi.
here. How are you all today?
Doing great.
Doing great. Fun fact, for those listeners, I've actually met Daniel before, back in 2016 during the a debate workshop before.
Wait, actually, do you remember meeting him? Daniel, do you remember meeting Haikal?
Unfortunately, I don't. To be very honest with you. Over a very long debate career, you meet a lot of very fantastic, very amazing people. I'm sure Haikal was one of them. For sure. But it's nice that Haikal remembers. So I'm quite touched by that.
Mm-hmm. I remember his presentation on because I was a noob back then. I wasn't much of a good debater, but looking at your slides and presentations during that day of the workshop really helped me to focus on what's important and what should I need to prioritize in my debate speech.
How long ago was this? I'm very curious to know.
This is 2016, so it's been 5 years already.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I mean it's pretty understandable if you couldn't remember me back in 5 years ago because we just recently met.
And I'm sure in 5 years you would have grown quite a bit.
Yeah, I've grown quite a bit, and we're lucky to actually bring you here. To be fair, Daniel.
We are
Very
definitely honored.
Oh, pleasure's all mine. Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting me and for giving me this opportunity.
It is, and we're really, really excited to continue our debate which is the third episode, right? Okay, so we have 3 questions for Daniel today, right? So we're gonna ask him, how has debating helped you in your work, right? And Aziz, you wanna say the second question?
Okay, the second question is, how do you debate effectively in a real life setting?
Yes, and I think that's a really interesting one because, a lot of people do struggle in debating, even debaters themselves in real life.
True.
Last but not least, what is the difference between coaching, being a debater, and being an edge core? So an edge core is basically who handles the debate, who judges the debate. So that's an edge core, right? Okay, so I think all of them are very pretty interesting questions. Even as a debater myself, I would really like to hear these questions from somebody who's experienced. So without further ado, let's ask the first question for Daniel, which is, how has debating helped you in your work?
All right, so that's an interesting question. Maybe I'll start by giving a little bit of background. I started debating when I was in Form 4 when I was 16. So Let's just say I've doubled that. That's double the lifetime that I currently am now. So so that was a long time ago. I think I can see Haziq trying to think about how long ago that was. And it's really interesting because I got into debating coincidentally because my school team back then, I was from Victoria Institution, Kuala Lumpur. They were looking for a third speaker and they needed someone who was Bumiputra. And I was the one who filled in the quota. So quite interestingly enough, that was the only reason why I joined the debate team. But, fate works in very funny ways, and that was how I got in. Unfortunately, we lost the one and only debate we had back then. That was the Datuk Wira Cup. But then, the debate bug had bitten me, and I was actually really excited. So the next year, when we were in Form 5, it was a great team. Myself, my teammates, I remember Benjamin, Kishan, Dinesh, all of them are doing amazing and fantastic things now. One works for the United Nations. The other one is a partner at an accountancy firm. And one more is actually the managing director of a streaming service called iQIYI, which is owned by Tencent Group. So, all of us, alhamdulillah, have done decently well for ourselves in that time. And
wow. This is really like, wow.
Again, it's been a long time. And we've been, we've kept as friends ever since. So back then in Form 5, we actually went all the way. We became state champions, and we unfortunately lost at the national level. But I think that left a big impression on me, debating, cultivating critical thinking, the ability to present on your feet and all that. Eventually, what happened then was I got into university, the International Islamic University in Malaysia, IIUM, and it is a well-known university for its debating scene. It has one of the oldest debating scenes. It has produced many debate champions, and you've
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning to all. I am Sadam Haikal, the moderator of the session. Welcome to another episode of What's Up World, and today's session is a collaboration between ALC 231 and the English Language Club of UiTM Pulau Pinang. This semester, we are learning the oral commentary of films, and we are very fortunate to have a renowned actor, screenwriter, film director, and producer for us today. He is none other than the Bront Palarae. Welcome.
Hello,
Right.
everyone. Assalamualaikum.
Hello.
Good morning, everyone.
Waalaikumsalam. Welcome, sir. How are you doing today?
Alhamdulillah, not bad.
Thank you for joining us for today. But before we move on to our session with you, right? Before we begin our Q&A with Mr. Bront Palarae, let us hear a welcome speech from the head of Department, Academy of Language Studies, Dr. Rafiza Abu Bakar, University Technology Muara Cawangan, Pulau Pinang.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to this event called What's Up World. And in today's event, we'd like to welcome our very own talented actor and director, Bront Palarae. So thank you, Puan Nazima, Inche Azli, Dr. Ilyanis, and also Puan Afrika, the English Club advisors, and not forgetting the committee members, the English Club committee members who have worked very hard to make this event a success. So I do believe that the audience has a lot of questions that they'd like to ask, and this discussion, I think, would benefit everyone here, especially those who are taking ELC 231. So I wouldn't want to waste anybody's time. So congratulations again to all the committee members to make this event a success. And to Bront, welcome to ITM, and the floor is yours. So thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
All right, thank you, Dr. Rafiza. Wow. First and foremost, thank you again for coming to the show. We're really excited, not only me, but all the students of UITM is really excited to have you here coming on the show.
Thank you.
Right?
It's a great pleasure to be here. Thank you for
It
having
is.
me.
No problem, Bront. But before you, how are you doing, Mr. Bront? Are you doing all right?
Yeah, I just got out from the jungle, so pardon my Neanderthal image. Just had a shoot and just got back 2 days ago.
Wow. Okay, cool. Well, since today we're doing a forum, style session today. So, of course, so we will start the session today by letting the students asking the questions for you. Because I think a lot of people are really curious about what you do as a person, what you do as an actor. How you do all of these amazing stuff on screen and off screen too.
No problem. Shoot your questions, guys.
Yeah, should your questions the one in a lifetime chance to actually be Bront Palarae.
So have you received any questions yet?
We're just
How
gonna
many
wait.
of us today, if you don't mind sharing?
Sure. I am. Well, that's basically the technical team. The technical team. Oh, 16. All right, a lot of people, you can say. Okay, well,
So their marks will depend on how we interact. Yeah,
well,
that's pretty much it.
Sort of.
All right, then. So the mark depends on the questions and not the answers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
All right. Okay. So this is a question from Shakes. Okay, he's from Sabah. Right. How has life been like since becoming an actor, and what are the challenges you have faced? Now, this is a really interesting question. Mind answering that?
Wow. How has life been like since becoming an actor? Life changing. Life changing, of course. I think that is one profession that I kind of find fulfilling in a lot of ways. I think it quenched my thirst for knowledge, and being an actor, you get to play different personalities, different people from all walks of life. One day you play a janitor, the next day you play an assassin, and the next day you play a football commentator and things like that. So with each role, you kind of have to do research, and in the process of doing research, you gain a lot of knowledge and insights into a lot of things. So it's an eye-opening journey as well. Professionally, I think it's pretty much like any other profession. You have your career ladder where you reach certain stage and you hit plateau for a while and try to make a step up, and it takes some time for you to, I don't know, reach at the top, or so to speak. So yeah, and the challenges, try picking up the right project, I think, has been a challenge. I don't care much for the stuff that comes with being an actor. The glitz and the glamour part don't really bothered me before, or even now. But I think keep picking the right project has been a massive challenge, because there are so many confluences, so many variables that influence the outcome of any projects. So picking the right material, picking the right team, choosing the right co-stars, even though it looked perfect on paper, sometimes it still can come out badly. so yeah. So that has been a challenge.
That has been a challenge. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Well, here's another question, which is, what is your favorite scene or movie so far you have done?
Weirdly, I don't watch my own show. So I wouldn't know the outcome for most of the projects that I've done so far. I've only seen some of them. But in the process of making it, I think I enjoy every scenes that in all the projects that I've done. Some for sentimental reasons, some for technical difficulty reason, and some for the fact that it's once in a lifetime you get to do stuff like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, the honest answer is I wouldn't know. I don't watch my own show.
I mean, there must be a lot of shows, right? You went Ola Bola, you went from the bridge, all
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
and
this.
and I always see it like ex-girlfriends. So you love each other, you love and things like that, but you there's no point seeing each other. there's there's not there's pretty much nothing you can do about it. So you just enjoy the process of making it, and then the result is for the audience, not for
Hmm.
myself.
All right, sure. Now let's move on. I think this is a very, very fun question for you, Bront Palarae, which is what's the
Yeah.
most fun actor or actress you have worked with?
Actor Amirul Effendi.
Ooh.
Amirul Effendi has been fun to work with.
Oh, why is it fun working with him?
I don't know. We crack up jokes most of the time. We always find a different way to, we call it, to attack a scene, to interpret a scene, and he always come up with some crazy ideas or something to
Hmm.
surprise you, which is, I think, something that all actors seek in or on a movie set or in a scene together with the co-stars. Like there's always something to surprise you, and I always find it a great joy working with him. Actress, huh? Actress, Sharifah Amani.
Ooh, Sharifah Mani.
Yeah, for the same reason. And both of them, I worked with them for on a lot of projects.
Ooh.
So the idea of surprising each other has become, the percentage or the probability of surprising each other has become lesser and lesser and lesser, and because we know each other so well. But uh that's the fun, or that's the kind of fulfillment that we try to seek whenever we go on a set together, or doing a scene together.
Wow, wow. You've worked with a lot of amazing actors I
Oh,
mean,
I'm lucky.
yeah, you're very lucky. All right, so I'm not sure about this one, but how has your life changed after the Oscar awards? Have you
I don't
been?
know. Never.
You've never, I
uh
see.
I don't to be honest, I don't bother much. I stopped following the Oscars, I think, 10 years ago. I find no relevance uh, whatsoever with my career, or with our ecosystem, not only in Malaysia, but also in Southeast Asia. Other than you draw inspirations from the great movies in top 10 or top 5, the last 5 years, top 10,
Top 10.
for best picture. But other than that, I don't find it relevant much.
I see.
I think we are living in a different constellation, or universe of some sort.
Mhm. Right, right. Okay, let's move on to the next question, which is what is the thing that you have not achieved yet in acting? You.
Hmm, I don't know, but I never see it that way anyway. I never see or view acting in such a way. Uh, I always see it as an avenue for me to gain insight um, into human being and how they think. I find those more fascinating, like how a character would do such a thing, or their worldviews, and playing different characters from different backgrounds uh, and social classes, kind of giving you the opportunity to understand their worldviews as well. So that's for me is what I find acting fascinating. In terms of achievement, I don't really bother, or I don't really think much about it, to be honest. Yeah.
Right. Basically, you have like a lot of roles, and then you can play different characters. I think that's most fascinating about
Yeah.
acting. Yeah, different characters, different people. Right. So, Nick Danish, which is how do you adapt with the struggles in life, either religiously or physically, as an actor? Yeah.
Physically, not so. I think religiously, the spirituality of it, I think it's
Mm-hmm.
becoming apparent that with age, with my daughter growing, there's a sense of there are things that I should not do, or I won't be able to do anymore. It's like, saying I love you to a 20-year-old girl is not possible anymore. On screen, it will be cringy. So there's a lot there's a lot of adaptation. You accept certain things have gone beyond what you can normally do. Religiously as well, I think, because there are a lot of roles that I won't be suitable anymore, or wouldn't suit me anymore. So yeah, it just going with the times, and try to accept the things that comes with, perhaps, I don't know, age, maybe.
Maybe as they say, as you grow older, you become wiser, right?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
Okay, here's another question from our audience. Okay, so how far do you think our entertainment industry has developed, especially in nurturing the people and community? Now, this is a very, very interesting question. Now, what do you think about the um, entertainment industry right now?
Unfortunately, I think we are regressing in that department. I think we could do better. We should, we must, but obviously that's not happening. I think, without sounding like a rant, uh, I think the current creative industry is serving one particular segment within society, when I think the society, the makeups of our society is larger than that. Uh, so yeah, we could have done better. We should, and
Mm-hmm.
we must. And I think there's a lot of potentials, but a lot of it are unfulfilled. So let's
Understandable.
let's let's hope, and let's work towards that. There's a lot of us who are working hard in terms of trying to find the right materials that bring value to our community, our society. So, but it's a slow progress, and let's hope that the new generation can bring something more
Something
exciting
new.
to the space. Yeah.
Have you watched any local movies? Like, what's your favorite local movie that you've watched so far that you think is like,
Wow.
wow, really inspiring, really awesome?
Once I like Raw. I saw
Mm-hmm.
Raw. I think there was one of the few last one that I saw. I saw Pusaka. I saw Raw.
Oh, Pusaka.
Yeah, I think the movies made by the younger directors are more exciting. I can't wait for Adam Zainal's first film project. I hope he'll be able to raise some money to make it.
For sure, for sure.
So
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Thank you for the question, Madam Nuradi. Right. So now this is the next question from Nurul Atira. Right. So the entertainment industry is said to be full of stress and pressure. So what do you tackle to the pressure that comes with your work? Hmm.
I have no problem. I'm lucky because I have no problem dealing with pressure whatsoever. In fact, I thrive in in that kind of situation. Uh, but if the question is what makes me, what got me through it, I think the idea behind why you're doing it, for whom you're doing it for, and I think having loved one matters a lot, because it gives a sense of purpose to whatever you're doing.
Mm.
So my family has been the pillars of whatever I do, and and because of that, I think I can endure whatever pressure that being thrown at me, or what kind of situation. You just deal with it. There's 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 a saying that I kind of really embrace, especially with age, which is how do you eat a whale?
Okay.
One bite at a time. So no matter how hard or tough a situation or proposition may looks like, but at the end of the day, just focus on one step at a time. So you have one bite at a time. So that's how
One
I
bite of a
I
time.
embrace it.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that I know that I've talked to a lot of people before, and like one of the things that I think what you said is true. That it's really helpful that you take one step at a time, one journey at a time, to actually move on to the next step, to the next movie, to the next adventure, all that stuff. All right. Now, so since you've also worked with you've also somewhat known internationally, right? So what's your experience working with international actors?
Good. Good. The good ones are good. The not so good ones are okay. The treatment has been very nice. The pay has been nice. Yeah, I think that's the next step. Few years ago,
Mhm.
when it felt a bit like I was hitting the ceiling. Uh, and I think in any profession, in whatever that you guys do, after graduated, once you go into any particular field, uh, in your professional career, there'll be some point when you hit the ceiling, and there's the outlook seems like you can't progress anymore, or you can't progress further. So I think that's what I felt like 5 years ago, that I couldn't progress any further
Mhm.
in terms of my career. Which means the role that I got was somehow felt like a serial deja vu's. It's not only deja vu's, like serial deja vu's, and there wasn't any joy anymore in receiving scripts. I think until Half Worlds came from HBO, and
Mhm.
I think that kind of a change, because it led to Indonesia, it led to Hong Kong, it led to Philippines, it led to a few countries
Wow.
that and what's refreshing about working abroad or working outside the comfort of our own industry is nobody knows you. So it's almost like you start all over again. You go back to the drawing board, but with the advantage of experience.
Advantage of
Unlike when you
experience.
first, yeah, because when you
Yeah,
first
yeah, yeah,
started,
yeah.
you didn't have the experience, but now you start all over again, but with the privilege of having some experience
Mm.
in your pocket, and that have somehow changed, or brought me joy into acting as again. And I think that's the best gift Allah has given me. Because I thought about quitting, because it wasn't fun, it wasn't worth
Mhm.
it, it wasn't in a lot of ways anymore at that time, until things change, and you kind of like, all right, now it's a step up, and let's go and play differently now.
Mm-hmm. To step up, it's a new environment, new changes,
Yep,
new
yep.
things, new challenges. Right. Thank you, Arin Anwar, for that question. Now let's move on to the next question, which is Faris Daniel, which is there any actor or actress that you want to work with personally?
uh Never thought about that. I think we how but obviously I think I would love to work with the younger generation, the
Okay,
Shafiq
very soon.
Kyle, the Nadir, the I think the Diane Trishas. I think the whole young generation. Otherwise, it would be too long and too far in between for
Mm,
us to get together and get to work together and things like that. But yeah, those generations.
I mean, what about like international actors, actors? Maybe do you wanna, name a few?
I don't know, but I never try to dream up something that I don't have a way to achieve it. It's like, one day I want to live in a palace, but there's no point if there's, you can't have a blueprint of how to
Yeah,
attain
how you
it.
gonna get there?
Then I don't know. I never thought about that.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for that question. Now let's move on to Akila Shamimi, which character or scene is the hardest, to play?
The next one,
Or the next one, which is
because I haven't done it, so
ah.
um, I don't know, because every characters come with its own
Mm-hmm.
difficulties. Even though it may seem very easy from the outside, or from the outlook, it may seem it's a casual role, it's a stroll in a park and things like that. But I think to bring authenticity, or to find something interesting in the boring role, is such a tough thing to do as well. So I wouldn't discount boring role can be tough. But which character scene is the hardest to play? Maybe Ola Bola.
Oh, really? The commentator?
Yeah, maybe because I had to improvise 2 minute plus 3 minute, I think,
Ah,
of the whole segment, and that was quite crazy. Especially when
wow.
I we had to do it when I had a high fever due to shooting condition. We were shooting at 2 o'clock on the rooftop of RTM building.
Wow. 2 o'clock in the morning.
So on top of the building, on the rooftop, they had like bitumen laid or paved on the rooftop. So if you shoot anything at 2 o'clock, then you get direct sunlight, and you get the reflected heat from the roof. So
Ah.
so I was sandwiched between the two.
Mm.
I was sandwiched between that two condition, and we did our first sort of first few days on the rooftop. I got in the fever, but then we couldn't shift the schedule further, because the whole team, it involved 300 people over 75 days
Oh.
of shoot. So if they were to give me any free days, that means the whole production will shift, and I didn't
And
want to wreck the schedule. So we did it anyway. I took a jab. So I had 2 consecutive days of jabs from 2 different clinics, because the same
oh,
doctor wouldn't prescribe me the jab on the second day. So yeah, that will be the
the
I think the
hardest.
hardest.
All right, cool. Now let's move on to the next question from Haziq Fitri. He's a big fan of yours, by the way. Watching the way you bring your characters to life, it looks super natural and real. What is your routine at the filming set before the camera starts rolling?
I have my special jumpy and mantra. I'm just kidding. We don't do that. Uh, I think that's the whole idea. Trying to find something unique in each character, and
Mhm.
try to project, or transmit it to the audience. Uh, I kind of find playing psychos, or things like that very easy, because it's iconic anyway on paper. So it's very easy. I think playing a normal guy is tougher, because it's very hard to to bring something unique to everyday people, and that's the kind of
Mhm.
challenge that I seek, or the kind of complexity that I try to bring to each of the normal characters that I play. So there's no rituals, there's no mantras,
No,
there's just yeah,
it's
yeah,
just more like you just getting yourself in the game, getting yourself trying to
exactly,
understand the character.
yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you, Haziq. Now let's move on to Nureen Shafia. So, as an artist, is there any topics or ideas that you wish to pursue, and present to the audience in your project in the future?
Wow. I think as human being, we can't run away from the fact that we'll be affected by a lot of things as time progress, from the social political, social economic landscape within the country and at the global level. So of course there's a lot of things to say and yet to be said through the work. I'm completing my project called the Lies I Tell, which
Mm-hmm.
deals with hypocrisy. And
Ooh.
One to Jaga was about corruption, but also about how we treat foreign workers, which is an extension of Columbo, my first movie, which is also how we treat our foreign workers. It's uh, I don't know. It's each project kind of allows me to say something about our country, about our society,
Mm-hmm.
about
Mm-hmm.
how we behave, and
Mm.
you just want to be the mirror that reflect those things back to the audience and say, yeah, this is how we look like. Are we okay with that as a
The
society?
society.
uh, so yeah, so different I'm trying to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to write a sort of semi satire, not really satire, but semi satire about politics and city council and things like
Uh,
that. So
I mean, I mean, I
so
mean,
hopefully,
I mean, the way that you say it is really interesting. If it comes out, I'm definitely gonna watch it.
yeah, well, there are certain stuff that the research are the one that normally takes so long, because there are
Yeah,
certain stuff that
yeah.
you want to understand, and then
Mm.
um, from there you just want to verify whether it's true.
Yeah, yeah.
So that takes a bit of time.
Yeah, it does take a really, really big of time, right? That, I mean, phew, really excited to see that movie when it comes out. Right.
Yeah,
All right. Another question from BZNZ man. Okay. Hope I said your name correctly.
PZNZ man. Okay. Oh, business.
Oh, Oh, yeah, businessman. Oh,
All right.
businessman. Nice name. Nice name. Right. So, how did you become a top and successful actor after years in the industry? So, you want to tell us a bit of your story about that?
Luck.
Luck.
Yeah, pure luck. I think
I see.
yeah, no matter how much I try to contribute the word talent or looks or whatever other attributes towards the success or perception of success uh, of my career, I couldn't find a way to get luck out of it. I think luck has been a major contributing factor. And weirdly, I think I always benefited from the benefit of generosity from a stranger or generosity from strangers. Uh, Somehow, or throughout 20 years, 21 years of my career, I always get that kind of, or I always, most of the turning points in my career or in my journey had been about that, which is total stranger saw something and said, yeah, I'm gonna give you a chance, this is gonna be your gig, and and it, and I embrace it, and it led to a bigger gig and rinse and repeat. So yeah, generosity from strangers, I think that will be the contributing factor.
True. I mean, what better way to get some generosity from other strangers, right? It
Yeah.
feels really nice to get them. Right. So, I think a question from Nurul Atira. Right. So you have been associated with acts of charity and humanitarianism, such as participating in the emergency relief trip to Gaza and as UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador. So how does these acts impact your life?
How? I think the reason for Gaza was I was trying to find myself.
Wow.
I was,
Okay.
my wife or my girlfriend back then. I think we were at the stage where we were trying to find who we really are, or trying to to find some answers to some of our questions, or the questions that we had about, existential crisis, so to speak. uh, so my wife, or my girlfriend back then, went off to Annapurna. She was into hiking. She's still into hiking and climbing and things like that, uh, which I wasn't, and I'm still not.
More of a
But
house person, lah.
but I was like, I need to get away and from the glitz and glam of of the showbiz for a while. I think I was trying to find true emotions. I was trying to understand human being and our psyche again. I wanted to taste different kind of sensation. And at that time, Gaza was heavily attacked. It was in 2013, and they had a 8-day truce.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I think I wanted to volunteer at a hospital, so I could, you know,
See,
I could
see the
immerse
situation.
myself in
Oh.
tragedies, and hopefully it turned me into, or that's what I was hoping for, just to put myself in that situation and learn about, you know mankind, human being,
Mm.
our psychological conditions, and make myself useful at the same time. It's just about trying to run away, or trying to escape whatever that was happening in the show business at the time. And uh, I couldn't get a ticket until Aflin Shauki found out that I was trying to
Mm.
go. And he was making a documentary, and so he asked if I would mind joining his team. So yeah, so I joined his team, and it turned out to be one of the most luxurious trip ever, where they put us in a 5-star hotel. They treated us
Wow.
like, which defeat the whole purpose of,
Yeah, to be the whole purpose of going to Gaza.
yeah. so that's why I never really spoken about it, because I think it didn't serve its purpose in terms of humanitarian work. But other
Mm.
than that, I work with Global Sadaka, so I kind of help amplify their campaigns, particularly with emergency relief aids.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it has been fun so far.
It's been so fun. It feels like you're like a sociologist, just like I'm trying to understand the world of
Yeah,
society.
you're just trying
Just
to
see the world, right?
I think that's the perks of being an actor,
I can
which
definitely see
a
that.
lot of people don't really. And I don't know about other actors, but I really enjoy it in that way, that it allows you to go and have a glimpse, or get a glimpse into one kind of life, and trying to understand, and then you can jump on to next kind of
Then
life, or like, you can spend time with a pilot and trying to understand everything about being a pilot, the worries, the ideas, their views and their sentiment and things like that. And then after a couple of weeks or after a month, you can shift to rickshaw driver, penari beca, things like that, and try to understand the life as well. So I think I've been blessed with being an actor because of that. I think I enjoyed that really much, very, very much, understanding people.
definitely, wow, that's such an amazing career, man.
you
that's,
get
that's such an
you get
amazing.
you get to be so many things without having the commitment, or the life commitment, in order to do that. I mean, like, to be
Mm,
an astronaut, you have to, if you want to earn the legitimacy of being an astronaut, I think that will take you, what, years and years of training,
mhm.
exams, but being an actor, you probably could do that in 2
Just
months.
like just in a few days.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a blessing for you, man. That's a blessing
Yeah.
for you. Right. What is the okay? So this is from It Smile. So what is the first thing newbies need to do in order to get involved in this acting industry? So I think maybe there's a few people who are really interested to be an actor or an
Wow.
actress. Yeah.
Quit.
Quit. All right.
I don't normally support the notion of joining show business.
Mhm.
Anyone who have that I've come across, or anyone who have shown the intention of joining the industry, whenever we interacted, I would say no. No,
Mhm.
seriously. To the parents or to the person himself, herself, I would say no, because whatever that I gain, there's a major luck that comes into play, like I mentioned just
Mm.
now.
Mhm.
But nobody could guarantee that the same luck
Will
can,
happen again.
exactly, with others especially. So I wouldn't recommend. Weirdly, I wouldn't recommend this profession to anyone. Uh, you know, uh, it can be. I don't know. I think it can be maybe because I joined.
Mhm.
I chose acting because that's the easiest among all other discipline in filmmaking. I studied filmmaking, and I kind of find this is the best, the easiest, and the one that comes with a lot of
No way.
perks. Uh, but I can always go back and do writing. I can always, it's not really, my life depends on it,
Mm.
even though it has been, giving a lot of things to myself.
Yeah.
But to others, I would say don't risk
Mm.
your education, your life, your potential by joining in without having any proper plans.
Yeah. Definitely, because entering something new, it requires a plan, and we have to make new commitments.
Yeah,
That's a whole new level.
and I can understand because it feels good, and it seems like it feels good. Uh, but I always say it looks good from the outside most of the time.
Definitely.
Because as an audience embracing the 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 scene, you are seeing it from the audience perspective. So there's always a the pulling factor, the cool part, the glitz part. But being part of the industry is totally different.
Mm,
Yeah. So I wouldn't want to
you know.
risk anybody's children going into industry thinking that it will be easy and it will be nice and
Definitely.
rosy and all that. Yeah.
I think it applies to all industries as well, not just just acting, but a lot of
Yeah.
industries is that's right. Right. I think we have another question from Nick Danish. Is okay. If you could turn back time and choose a different occupation, what would you choose and why?
Nope. I'm
Nope.
okay with I'm okay with what I am, who I am. I don't have any regrets. Of course, there are things that you wish you could do better, but I wouldn't swap this life with anything else.
'Cause
Yeah,
I guess it does resonate with you, like trying to understand people, you want to understand the world, and it's quite
yeah.
yeah. So once in a lifetime chance, you can always be an actor. All right, so the next one is from Muhammad Daniel, which is you're also a director. So since you're also a director, can you share some of your experience as being a director? Is it harder than just acting?
Uh, Harder, not really, but it comes with more responsibilities.
For sure.
Your even in terms of job scope, there's a lot of tasks, a lot more tasks that you have to do. In terms of timeline, there's a lot more commitment and longer commitment uh, that you are required to commit onto a project. Um, but I always see it like this: easy life, just being an actor. But I only direct whenever I have something to say. So the urge has to be, because the work is tough, that I don't need to do it just for the money. So it has to be about something that I
that
really want to
moves
say.
you.
That yeah, that worth the effort and worth the sleepless nights, uh,
Definitely.
and worth uh, saying goodbye to my family early in the morning for. So
Mm.
otherwise, I rather spend time with my family. I'm such a lazy director. I'm sorry.
You know, I've actually once interviewed a director before, right? And I shared his experience about directing, and honestly, the work itself is really really tiring. Like you have to
Yep,
have
yep,
the whole crew to understand your vision. You have to get everybody at least you get 80% on screen is really much of an
yep,
achievement, really.
yep, yep.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
it's project management most of the time.
Project
Uh,
management.
I think a lot of people think that it's about vision and all that. I think getting people on the same page is the toughest, and
Yeah,
and and
definitely.
and rally up people to work at a certain pace that you want in order to achieve certain milestones or daily tasks is the yeah, that's the toughest part of it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, definitely. Right, let's move on to the next question, which is Ainul Mardia Al-Mizam. Right, who is your role model in acting? So,
Ooh.
is she guessing is Reza Rahadian? Is it true?
No, but he's a good friend.
Oh, okay.
He's a good friend. We've done two projects together. Role model, yeah. I think I like different actors, a lot of actors for different reasons or attributes that they have. Uh, some for their commitment, some for their techniques, some for the way they choose their projects, some for their longevity within the space they
Industry.
occupy within the industry. There's no one particular role model. I'm very sorry to disappoint you.
So many people to
I,
look up to, I guess.
I yeah, I look up to a long list of people, and you just admire them for their strength and and the work that they do. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
All right, cool, cool. Now let's move on to the next question, which is Zuresh. I know, isn't the whole thing about luck as an actor applies to every other occupation out there? There's risk everywhere, no?
True. uh, that's very true, but
Mm-hmm.
I was merely answering from the context of show business. I think
Show business.
with show business, the career ladder is a bit different. Like in corporate, you work in a department, you become head of department, and then you move up rank. That's a clear pathways that you can you can chart your career uh, based on a certain you know certain charts of
Sure.
occupation that you go, okay, from this position I can go there and go there within 15 years I probably end up head of HR or COO or things like that, or GM. With show business, there were some people that when I first joined the industry was playing bit part roles, um, which is bit part role is something like peop- is the role is slightly more important than extra, which is background extra, but it's not
Mm,
important enough to have a name, for instance. Or sometimes they have a
right, right.
name but it's very generic. It's like the secretary at at an office. So there were a bunch of people who, when I first joined, they were already bit part player, and after 21 years, they are still bit part players. And I wouldn't want that to happen to anyone. That is like 21 years of not progressing. I think that's scary. And they're still doing it because the passion they have, because it's a
Mm,
passion driven industry. People
mhm,
people love doing what they do, hoping that things gonna get better for them in
for sure.
over time. But then
Mm,
over time as well, after 21 years, some haven't realized that they are stuck in the same place or on the same spot, which is, I
mhm,
think, very scary, especially if you are a uni graduate, which I think in different fields or other profession, 21 years could lead you to, better paycheck and better positions.
I see. As they say, you fall down 7 times, you get back eight.
Exactly. I hope so.
Yeah. Right. So now let's move on to the next question, which is Amar here. How do you stay away from the controversy that is happening in your personal life? So, as an actor, you've always been in the spotlight. So how do you get away all these controversy, all these type of stuff?
How, yeah. I think I don't, maybe because I separate my private life from my professional life. Nobody have seen my family, my kids. Nobody knows what I do when I'm not on screen, which I don't think they should. Uh, so that lessen the possibilities of things, of things could go wrong, because with less information, then you have less information to steer up things with. And I think maybe because of that, but I don't normally seek any spotlight anyway. It's just that, you just
Mm-hmm.
focus on the things that you want to do, and focus on the things on
Mm-hmm.
how to make yourself your life better. But sometimes, which I try to control the urge now, whenever I tweet has turned into some sort of national news, especially regarding what's going on within the country. So I try
Mm,
to lessen that activity as well. So now I only
mm,
tweet once a week. So not
not as
so
often.
not as often, because I think every time you say your mind, or you voice your ideas, voice out your ideas or your mind, it could easily played
Mm-hmm.
into some sort of narrative to fit political party sentiments and things like that.
Yeah,
So yeah, after a
understandable.
while you're kind of like, okay, let's
Let's not
post
let's
once a
not
week.
disrupt
Yeah.
disrupt anything.
Yeah. So I end up posting only once a week now. Like, you don't want to share your view much, as not
mm,
to
to
upset,
like upset
the
people.
society or the people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. So next question is from Irina. Is it Irina? Right. As an actor, how long does it take for you to study about the stories or the characters given?
Can be half a day, can be months, can be years, depending on the complexity and depending on the vision of the director. And
Mm-hmm.
and but normally I will join way earlier, from the ideation stage. So most of the project that I got involved in, 2 years before we started shooting. Fly by Night was 5 years, 4 years before we started shooting.
Wow.
uh, yeah, so it depends. And with each character, sometimes it seems very easy, sometimes it look like it's tough, but the components for me to understand came, in a package that is easily accessible. You can, you can access certain data or certain information that you need for your character. I think those are the things that more important, than the duration. For Dawn Raid, for instance, we tracked down one particular person who are now resides in Canada, and it took us 2 years to track him down and to get an interview with him. So it depends on how hard it is to attain
How
certain
hard?
information.
I see. All right, all right, all right. Now, is there any other questions? Maybe want to ask? Maybe one more last question. I don't know. I have a question for myself. For you, actually.
Please shoot it.
So I guess I am really into I'm not really into movies, but like I do understand the difference between Western and Eastern, movies, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So like there's Western's a bit different, Eastern's a bit different, right? And I guess you have also acted in Eastern and Western movies to an extent, of course. So what is the difference do you see between Western and Eastern uh, movies and how you've been and the roles that you've been acted in those movies?
I think with Western, obviously, is Western tinted glass.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you could see the worldview of the writer, the director, obviously, with the way how the stories are being told. Uh, the the response on or the impulse on any particular situation always different from the Eastern context,
Mm-hmm.
which I think reflect the
The
Western way
Eastern.
of thinking. On the other hand, with Eastern is always different, but I think Malaysian is
Is,
is in a weird position
okay.
because I think there's a lot of replication, a copy and paste approach where it's a nice movie there.
I want to apply it here.
Let's plug
Yeah.
and play it here and try to try
Mm-hmm.
to push it down our
Mm-hmm.
throat and say so I think sometimes it can be incoherent, sometimes it can be jarring in terms of worldview, because you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it doesn't make sense that this
This makes
character is
sense.
seeing the world from this perspective, but
Mm-hmm.
due to the fact that it was taken from a Western context, then
Mm-hmm.
hence sometimes you get a
A
weird
bit,
way of
bit weird.
thinking
Yeah,
our
understanding it.
and
Mm-hmm.
we Indonesian, I think they are more solid in that sense that
Mm,
they are very sure with what the
they
idea of being
want.
Indonesian, the idea of
Mm,
being who they are. So they're very comfortable writing, characters from their perspective. And I think Japan is pretty much the same. Hong Kong is pretty much the
depends,
same.
but they say very
Philippines are,
concrete. Mm-mm.
yeah. So
Maybe we need.
it's
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah,
but
right. All right. I think maybe we need like a Malay. We go back to our traditional roots. Malay values, teaching. These stuff.
I think the society itself, I think we are pretty much a confused bunch.
I guess so.
So but it's normal because we are a young nation, I think.
Definitely.
So big civilizations, the Persian, they had it thousands of years, the American 300 over years, Indonesia with despite not much difference in terms of independent uh, time, but I think the civilization, I think it went thousands of years. With Malaysia, I think it's a start stop due to
Mm,
colonization and things like that. So
mm,
as a society, I think we are still going through the evolution process of trying to understand who we are collectively as
mm.
a Malay, as a Malaysian, as an Asian.
As an
Um,
Asian.
so it's also about that, like how uh yeah, we're still going through that existential phase as a
Crisis.
nation.
That's the
Yeah,
crisis.
like who we are, why things like that, like what uh the definition of being a Malaysian, being a Malay, because until
Mm,
that is solved, I think then only it can reflect it through our work. Until
mm,
then we will still be on a self-discovery mode. where you get to see a lot of things, random stuff are being thrown out, because
Yeah.
that's part of, discovering our identity, which I kind of find it's okay.
Yeah, then we are a 60-year plus independence country. So I guess it's a time where we just feel like, we need a time for existential crisis.
I think it's the right time for it.
Yeah, it's right. All right, right. So let's move on to, okay, this is the last question
Sure.
for today's forum, right? So, in your opinion, what is your thoughts on the Malaysian current film industry?
Wow. Unfulfilled potentials. For the amount of money being thrown into it. I think the government spent almost 200 million. No, a quarter a billion every 5 years. That's a lot of money. Um, yeah, I think unfulfilled potential up until now. I hope things get better soon over time.
Definitely, we have to get past the existential crisis phase first.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
that
think
we have to get
so.
that way first.
I think so. I hope so. But the younger generation, I think the new generation brought much optimism and hope into the space. So I think that's the most important thing. At least you have some hope, right?
Yeah, I guess some
So
whole.
that's the thing that I think everybody is feels slightly okay with, because the amount of young directors, young producers coming into the space has been I think exponentially increased. So that's not bad. I think that's and I just hope that they don't die down.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
keep fighting for the space and for the career. Then I think we could see in 5 years, perhaps,
yep. We'll see
the
that.
kind of direction that we want for Malaysian film industry.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I mean, talking to you makes me feel like I want to become an actor, makes me want to become a director. Just all these things are just like happening all in one go. It's just
Like I
so,
said just now, don't.
yeah. All right, okay. I mean, I have no plans, but I mean, it is pretty cool, make it as a part-time hobby.
But seriously, as an industry, I think we need all the best brains.
Yes.
Our industry can only uh, develop, can only improve with the best brains available. And
Mm-hmm.
whoever that feels like they want to waste their time away, then feel free to join the Malaysian film industry. We need all the best brains we could gather.
Yes,
So
to get
yes,
all the
please
best
welcome.
creative. Yes. Maybe the audience in there, if you're really interested, do. I mean, if we need, take a chance and
Yep.
get that passion towards it. Of course, passion is needed. So yeah, thank you, Bront Palarae, for coming. So
Thank you, Haikal.
it has come to the end of the session. So uh, for our forum today, right? And also we want to say thank you to the audience for being so cooperative in asking Bront Palarae your questions to Bront Palarae, right? We would like to appreciate everybody who came here as well, right?
Thank you.
And thank you for again, thank you again for introducing to us to all your life, the film industry and Malaysia, and a bit of few interesting in projects that you're planning to release soon. I mean, really want to watch that
Thank you.
movie of yours.
Thank
Right.
you. Keep on supporting. Thank you for the
Yes.
support all this while, and keep supporting Malaysian film industry. And hopefully, we can improve our output, and and making better movies with
Mm.
each new movies. So thank you again for having me. It's
Mm.
been a great pleasure. And
Mm-hmm.
for the audience, thank you very much for watching.
No problem. Mm-hmm. So it has come to the end. Thank you, Bront Pellery, for coming. On behalf of you at Penang, I wish you all the best for the next film, and thank you. But before we want to end the session, we want to promote something before we end, right?
Please, please.
So so next week we're gonna have another episode of What's a World, right? So right. So our next episode we're going to, all right, as you can see here, this is the next episode. It's on Thursday. So we're gonna talk about Newsflash, understanding what's on the bulletin with Ian Yee from the Star Rage. So That's the next episode that we're planning on doing. So if you guys don't know any context about this episode, what we plan on talking is that, today, as you can see, a lot of people can become just journalists, right? You can just post things on social media, boof, you become a journalist. You've updated the news, what's happening now. But the problem with that, there isn't much proper journalism that's happening to tell stories that are, happening around the world, and we want to document all these important details that is, that is happening in the society, right? So we've invited a TED Talk speaker, guys. He's a TED Talk speaker, and also a Obama Foundation Obama student, to come on and talk here on UiTM Penang to talk about his views and his current journey in journalism, right? And do remember to subscribe to our channel, UiTM Penang, hit that notification button, and also do follow our social media page where we post a lot of English tips and tricks, how to get your English better. We're really active. We post on every Monday and Thursday, and guys should check it out. It's really, really insightful. These basic things can really help you enrich and improve your English, because these basic things are the most important things to construct sentences and to construct words that comes out from your mouth, right? Again, right? Thank you for everyone's time for coming, right? And see you guys in the next episode, which is coming on Thursday. All right. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
For
Haka.
that, do fill in the feedback form right down there. Right? Do fill in. All right.